Hi guys, welcome to my niece TV Zealots. My name is Denise and my partner in crime is Mary. Today we're here to talk about the Netflix show movie that just came out recently, Bright. Mary, go ahead and say hi.
Hi, so glad you guys are here with us. Be sure to give our video a like and subscribe to our channel. We watched, right? And you know what? Everybody's over here talking about how it's the worst movie of 2017. And I gotta say, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of movies. We focus mainly on television, but it was not amazing. It was not great. How do you want to break this down, Denise? We're not going to go into super detail about this because it's painful, but we're going to give you 5 main points that you need to take away from this film. So, spoiler alert. How do you want to start this off?
Okay, well first, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. January 1st?
Huh?
Nothing, I'm just dancing.
I'm like, good Lord. Okay, so first of all, Will Smith is the lead character, and he plays Ward, a cop who we meet in the first scene, and he has there's been a diversity hire of an orc. I should just say there's I believe just 4 species. It's orc, fairies, humans, and elves. And then Ward's character has been assigned an orc as his partner. And so there's a robbery, and this orc comes out and starts shooting, and Will's character gets hit, and so he's taking some time off to heal, and we meet his little family, well, his wife and daughter. And
Don't get me started.
I was right. I was about to say something about her terrible acting and everything, but I just, I digress. It's early in the year. I'm trying to be good. And
Look,
so
I'm just gonna say, Will Smith did a lot of the heavy lifting in the whole movie.
yes.
But in this scene in particular, he was the only one acting in that room.
Right?
And it was very painful. She's terrible.
The worst. Anyway, she has tasked him with going out to kill a fairy that is annoying and bothering them. So they go outside, and I kind of like, does Will live in the ghetto? Like,
Right. I feel like LA is just so segregated already. I feel like people that live out there would probably have thought it was funny. Like, if all the elves, we'll get into elves later. Go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
Anyway, basically his neighbor comes up taunting him about messing with this fairy. He's like, look, this fairy about to whoop on him. Let's all stand around and watch the show. But of course, Will is triumphant in killing the fairy. I'm like, why can't the fairy live? But I don't know.
I think the fairies are like the rats and roaches of that universe.
Yeah.
They're just
obviously, because they must reproduce very quickly because they just killing them. Like, it was awful. Anywho, then Will's partner shows up, and of course he's like embarrassed to see him there, but Will's daughter is happy to see him, and like she's like the younger generation that hasn't been tainted by racism and all of that foolishness yet. So she's running up to the minority person and all buddy, and Will over here having a whole meltdown because Orc showed up in his neighborhood. They already hate cops. Like, cops are the scum of the earth in every universe, I guess. Right. And so it's like Like whenever they do it, that's the way they make it seem. But yeah, so we find out that orcs are considered to be dumb and, less than inferior creatures. And so Will is just trying to, I don't know if he's trying to just go along to get along, or if he really, in the beginning, wanted there to be unity and wanted, because he was always taken up for him and, that type of thing.
I think Will Smith's character, Ward, is a person who's just like, I don't want to get in anybody's way. I don't want to be the person that's full of hate towards anyone. And so I think since Ward's character already was kind of a butthole, the sergeant was like, nobody even wants to ride with you, so take Jacobi. So he's like, well, what do I have to lose? So they're actually very terrible partners together. Until the end of the movie, they had zero chemistry. I don't know if the director did this on purpose to kind of make them get along.
Okay, you froze. But no, I totally agree with what you were saying. I felt like they were bad at the beginning on purpose. I'm hoping it was on purpose, because if it wasn't on purpose, it was just terrible.
Right.
But like, you have to work at it to be this bad. Like, right. So I feel like that part was on purpose, and then as they grew together and they were brought closer together, they the chemistry was was there and present, and it came across the screen. So I don't know. I feel like yeah, that was that.
Okay. That's when we find our bright. Point 2.
So,
man.
Wow, it was so much going on. This was our first bit of action. They walk in, of course, and they get into this gunfight immediately. And then they finally take the shooter out, and they go into the building, and they find a little girl, Tika. And then they also see a Bright, and oh my God, they all freaked out. They was like, oh my God, it's a Bright, a magic wielding Bright. And it was something to be in a panic about. So I'm like, okay, I'm interested now. So right. The little girl, like, they're trying to apprehend her, and the Bright is already like mounted to the wall, and then he takes out the other drug dealers and everything. Like, this was just a bad building, just full of foolishness. And so the little girl, when they try to apprehend her, the wand falls out, and it's like, oh my God, it's a wand.
Yes. This was like, I guess, better than gold. Like, this is real magic currency. And everyone was like, they're like, what are we going to do? Jacobi takes Tika out of there, and the cops are all sitting around, and they're like, if we kill the orc, we can take the wand. It's like, imagine like $10 million sitting right in front of you. And Ward is like, we're going to call the feds, and we're going to go home to our regular lives. And they're like, if you don't do this with us, we're going to have to kill you too. So Ward goes out to Jacobi and tries to like goad him and like make him upset. The other cops are waiting. They're like, just drop him. We're going to get the wand and we're going to go. And Ward turns around, kills the other cops, and he and Jacobi run. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, like that scene was so powerful to me. Like, that's when I thought, okay, maybe I can like this movie.
Well, maybe. I must say, that was when I said, okay, I'm interested, because the action started. I felt like all of the action sequences that they had were amazing. Yes. And all of the fight scenes were great.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That was the best part of the movie. Everything else pretty much sucked.
Agreed. And
Ooh.
so then after that, we meet the elves. They have to go through the part of town where the elves are, and everything is super clean, super rich. And that's when they kind of give you a little bit of exposition about the history of their world. It's like if Lord of the Rings literally was real, or the bad guys. If you remember Lord of the Rings, those gross, ugly, that's what they are. They're orcs. The elves are the good people who are, white and clean and beautiful. And the humans were just somewhere in the middle where everybody just kind of used them. And so that's what this world is.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet a few of the elves. There's one of the elves that works for the federal government, Kanjamir, and he is on the hunt for Layla. Layla is a dark elf who is trying to bring up this bad power. I'm just gonna assume
He's
it's
trying to bring the Dark Lord back.
I can't say Dark Lord because that's what they call the guy in Harry Potter. Like I can't get my mind. Think about Voldemort.
It kind of feels like a mixture of a lot of things, I should say.
Yes.
But I will say this too. This, even though that was when the action started, and I was like, okay, I can like this movie. It's also when I started to like Ward and Jacobi's character, because then Jacobi kind of opens up and tells him what really happened in the alley, because it's all this mistrust between them because his Ward's shooter was let go, or he got away. Yeah. And the excuse was he jumped on the roof, onto the
fire escape.
But it actually was Jacobi lost him in the crowd, and he ran, and it was a kid tagging, and he was like, "Oh shoot! If I let them, get this kid, he's completely innocent. It's not him. It's not the shooter. They're gonna kill him on sight." So he helped him escape. And that's what he was hiding, not that he actually was working with the orcs or had any allegiance to the orcs. So then they could kind of like trust each other. So I felt like that's when the relationship got better. And that's kind of why I feel like it was on purpose in the beginning.
Yeah, I could kind of see it, but I felt like that was a really clumsy move. We should mention that Max Landis wrote this movie. He wrote a run for DC Comics for Superman, Alien something. Read, and now I've watched something that he wrote, and now I really don't want to read it. And David Ayer, David Ayer or Ayer, directed and produced it. He also wrote Training Day, and he wrote and directed Suicide Squad. So I'm kind of like,
right, what the heck happened? Like, did they fight and he lost? Anyway, Layla, Tien, and Seraphim are the three dark elves.
Yes.
Who are trying to find Tika and the wand. Apparently, Tika left the fold, and she's also a bright.
Yes.
And she was supposed to be killed. She was ordered to be killed by Layla, and Layla, I guess she ordered we find out that the bright that was adhered to the wall by Tika was the bright who was supposed to kill her with the wand. And somehow she overpowers her and takes it, and then all of these other events unfold. So now this team of three amazing fighters are after Will, Ward, Jacobi, and Tika, trying to find them. Now, mind you, while they're on the run, there's also several gangs after them. One is the human gang, and I cannot remember the leader's name, but he's in a wheelchair.
Poison.
What was it?
Poison.
Okay.
I loved him. He's in a wheelchair, but still like gangsta.
For real. It was a mess. Anyway, so he is out to get this wine. He's like, I want to walk again. And like, it is crazy. Like, his gang members are like, man, like I said, all the action, wonderful. Then, like I said, the three are after them, and also the orcs gang member. But we find out that they're actually good. Like, they've been having peace.
Right.
And so the leader is like, wait a minute, y'all humans came in here and disturbed our peace. We've been living good. We've been okay. And now somebody gotta die.
It was so great, but so pointless at the same time.
Yeah, it was. It was like, oh, we have 15 minutes we couldn't fill. Let's put this scene in there.
Right.
But also that's when we find out Tika was a bright too. So it was a point to it, because he kills Jacobi and then Tika uses the wine to bring him back to life. And they're like, oh snap, you were bright.
Yeah. Yeah. And he, in that, Jacobi accidentally fulfills some kind of prophecy.
Yes.
An orc rising up from the dead, and the fact that Will Smith is counted as blessed in this prophecy. It was like a 9,000-year-old prophecy or something, and like nobody knew that it was going to happen. And of course, it was an accident. But so, yeah, go on. The ending.
Yay! So, yeah. So the FBI, Will calls his friend, who was the other friend FBI? No, because he was like, we're going to call the FBI.
Yeah, he was just another LAPD.
He was just another, okay. And so he calls him and he's like, look, you know, you're the only person I can trust, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, look, we got to call this in. And so he calls the feds to tell him where he is. And of course, everybody's listening in on this call.
Yep.
The feds are like, okay, you know, tell me where you are. And Will's like, look, I got to negotiate before I, you know, tell you anything.
He killed 4 cops.
Right? He's like, you could say I was accused of killing some cops. You could make that go away, right? He's like, yeah, you know, I say it was self-defense and you was just trying to defend a fellow officer. I'm like, these fools over here.
That was good, though.
It was good. And so then, before they could finish even making the deal, the 3 crazies show up.
Oh, that gas station scene was on point.
Oh my God, it was so good. And then Tika is dying. So they have to get her to the light before, you know, she dies. And so they're like, oh my God, this is crazy, but we have to go back to the house that they originally went to.
So it's full circle. They could have just stayed there. I'm so mad.
But it's like, no. We got to go back to the beginning of this. So he gets there and he puts her in the water. And so, but Layla, of course, shows up and her team. And they all battle it out, of course.
Yeah.
And then, dun, I'm just skip ahead. We find out.
Yeah, this is,
we find out that Will is a bright because he picks up the wand and
he doesn't die.
Doesn't burst into flames or ash or whatever it is, fire. And then, which answers our question to all of those burnt bodies that were laying around. We're like, well, what's up? They were trying to touch the wand, burst into flames. Anyway, yeah, he's bright, and they covered everything up. Oh, the ending was the feds come in like, oh, what happened? And Jacobi's telling all the business. Look, there was a bright, and it was a wand, and it was this, and it was that. And Will's like, chill, homie, chill.
Right? He was like, so I don't know about him.
And so then Will finally gets a turn to talk, and he's like, look, what happened was it was a group of terrorists out here making up stuff. You know what's crazy? How lies sound better than the truth. Like, all of that really happened. It was really Bryce out there wielding magic and doing all this foolishness. but the truth, but the lie sounds better. It's like, okay, yeah, it was some type of conspiracy theorist out here, a fraud and doing the most. It's no Bryce, it's no magic, it's none of that. Like, that's not real.
Jacobi was like, I died and came back to life. Will Smith is like, chill.
He like, homie, look, none of that happened. None of that happened. Look, no.
And I feel like at that point, Will Smith became the audience. It's like, I wish that none of that happened. It got a 6 out of 10 on IMDb. It has 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I am somewhere in between that. I loved Will Smith. He was amazing in this movie. He's always good. Yeah. So he's just being himself. But then the elves were good. The story.
I honestly think it was the writing. I think they wrote a bad story and the actors did what they could.
The universe is amazing. I want to see someone else take this movie and do something else with it. Take that universe, the idea of it, the base of it. They could make an amazing movie off of that idea. But the writer that they picked was just, they shouldn't have done it.
I would have liked to meet the Dark Lord.
Oh, by the way, guys, all of this happened in one day. This was just a day. I hate it when they do that. It's terrible.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it. Let us know if you watched the movie, your feelings about it, if you agree with us or any of that. Let us know in a comment below. And like we said, Happy New Year and have a great day. Bye.